we've had an opportunity to review the minutes from July 15th. If so, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And now we'll move on to claims.
Mayor had an opportunity to review the claims. I have 27 pages totaling $1,525,718.71. I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
I'll second David's motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. No adjustments, new business. Brian, we have a change order for Division A.
Yeah, just real quick, we've got change order number 3 for Division A. And as you can see in your paperwork, it's a Hilltop new electrical service installation. Duke required us to put in a more substantial service there when we were doing our temporary work. And then downtown at the JPG, the pump base, where our well is, they discovered a crack in the base when they were working down there, and we had to have it fixed, and we just had them do it. But that's the change order, and it's $17,229.
Change order number 3.
Change order number 3 for Division A.
Okay.
We just have to approve it, and then I can email it off to the SRF.
And both of these was to make us current with the new standards for the electricals.
Yeah, Duke required the thing up on the hilltop. They came in, they brought their people in and said the temporary service we were gonna do, which was in our contract, wouldn't do. They had made us modify it to their standards and specifications. So we were kinda had our hands tied on that one, so,
Expense we could not avoid, right?
no.
And Brian, this change order also extends the date for substantial completion?
Yes.
Okay. And you've talked about that several times with
Yeah.
regards to
Division A,
essentially this division, but delivery of materials that are
Right.
needed for the project?
Yeah, and primarily the main thing we're waiting on now is a switch, which we have to have. And it's actually holding up, finishing Division A, that portion is kind of holding up one portion of Division B, but Division B is mostly finished. They've just got something on the hillside tank that they have to do.
Okay.
But that's not in here, that's just for knowledge purposes. That's it.
I'll make a motion we approve the change order number 3 for Division A.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Any discussion or comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed?
Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. And Nicole for professional services agreement for the UDO. Anybody here from Taylor Seifker Williams? Nicole, perfect timing. Probably didn't think we were going through the agenda so quickly.
No, I thought Brian was going to take a little longer. Before you, you have a agreement for professional services from Taylor Seifert Williams for our zoning ordinance update. We are combining our zoning ordinance and our subdivision regulations, which includes our design standards, into one document. It's a similar process that the county previously did, and we went through a selection process. We had 5 people submit requests for proposal submissions, and a review team thought that Taylor Seifert Williams had the best proposal, and so we're asking for the approval of their contract, which has the amount on it. Let me find
Yes,
that.
it's toward the back. There's a schedule. So you have the agreement, and then the agreement spells out all the tasks that they're going to perform. This is probably going to end up taking about
It's about
18
12 months.
12 months, you think? 12 months or so. But maybe go over what are the main tasks of the agreement relative to the scope of services, Nicole, and then you can
Give the amount?
on pages aren't numbered, but
No.
on the second to last page is the actual fee.
Sure, yep. So they're going to look at all of our current ordinances, and then work with a committee, that's, developed by myself and the mayor, to go through kind of where we stand as far as our current ordinances and, best practices and, legal codes, in Indiana for, planning and zoning. And then we're also going to look at whether modifications to how we zone our districts are needed. I'm hoping myself, that we can kind of combine things and make it a lot easier for the public to understand our zoning codes and, districts. Because we have quite a few different codes that are very similar to each other and could probably be combined to make it easier for the public. In the process, we've got several, public meetings scoped out, to get public comments on, what needs to be updated, and then also, while the drafts are going on. The approval process for this is, through Plan Commission. We're also going to, let our zoning board and probably our historic district board take a look at these, because they impact them as well, and then eventually it will go to city council.
Nicole, give a quick overview of the current ordinance and current construction and design standards that we use for zoning.
So our, zoning ordinance, was updated in 2016, by an engineering firm, without, professional planning staff, which is why we're going ahead and looking at updating it, because it's not up to best practices, or current standards in Indiana. But then our subdivision regulations were developed in 1997, and have never been updated. So, again, they do not meet current standards or best practices, so, we're wanting to make it easier for the public as well as the developers and put them all into one document, which is, pretty typical in planning, nowadays. The county, like I said, just recently did it, so we're not the first in this community, and certainly not the first city to undertake this process.
And TSW did the counties as well, so I think we'll get some benefit of that participation with them. And we've worked with Taylor Siefer Williams in the past.
Yes. Yep, they're familiar with the city. They helped us with our Stellar Communities application, and strategic plan for it. So they're aware with, kind of our comprehensive plan and, planning documents already.
So this will take a year, a lot of participation by several different bodies within the city as well as community, and it will result in drafting and making recommendations to the ordinance, which will now include combined regulations plus the actual zoning ordinance and updating the map.
Correct, yes.
On the last page, you have optional tasks. This is additional services that the city may choose.
Yes, they're just an optional, but those would have a separate contract that we'd bring back before you if we choose to add those. But we wanted to leave the options open.
Okay, but right now we're looking at the $74,310.
Correct,
And then
yes.
if we chose to say do the training and those kind of things, that would be an additional cost.
Yes, and that would be in a separate contract that would be brought back before you.
And do you remember the range? So we had 5 proposals. Do you remember what the range between these were?
For the amounts, they ranged, I believe the lowest was, 60,000, but they didn't meet the minimum qualifications, all the way up to 130. So, Taylor Siefer Williams of the eligible was the lowest
And
bidder.
they're familiar with our area.
Yes, they
because
are.
of work they've done in the past.
This is another one of those things that was long overdue. If you remember, a couple of years ago, we updated the guidelines and the for the historic
Survey,
district.
yep.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the agreement for professional services for the amount of $74,310.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Any discussion?
I just
Oh,
have a
yes, go ahead.
question. The funding for this, is this budgeted or
We
where will this come
budgeted a
from?
good portion of it for this year. They'll bill as the scope progresses, and I intend to budget the remaining part for next year.
next-
But it's already in the budget, yes.
Okay.
We have a lot of robust activity through building and planning, and having updated policies and guidelines is extremely important. Puts us at a disadvantage when we're operating with policies and guidelines that are anywhere between 15 to a quarter century or longer in age. So it's another one of those tasks that we just have to do. We have a lot of planning underway in the city right now, because that's gonna just lead to better policies and more investment across our community. Any other discussion, comments, or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, excited to get that started.
Thank you.
Now we have resolution 2024-36B. Is Neil or Hannah here? Since this is tomorrow, you get started and I'll go grab one.
Okay, this is resolution
Oh, you're
number,
gonna do this, okay.
this is resolution number 36B, 2024. Resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana regarding a street closing for the city's and National Night Out. Whereas there's been a request filed by Neil Mystery on behalf of the City of Madison Police Department and the Madison Fire Departments for a street closing in connection with the National Night Out to be held on Tuesday, August 6, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that Vaughn Drive between West Street and between the west side of West Street and the east side of Central Avenue shall be closed from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, August 6, 2024.
Chief, when is that?
Tomorrow.
All right.
Nothing like waiting.
Don't bet a
till the last
deadline.
minute. Yeah, so National Night Out's just a nationwide program. It's to help build the communities and let the people come and interact with us in more of a positive light. So we're gonna be cooking out, hamburgers, hot dogs. I think the fire department's setting up the trucks for like a splash pad like they did last year, and it'll be a good time.
Looking forward to it. It's always a great event. And who's doing the grilling?
I'm sure it'll be me and the sheriff.
All right, good deal. We're glad glad all of our police and fire are involved in this too.
Make sure your apron that you wear is of Kevlar, so we
Jeez.
want safety first.
Safety first. Well, I'll move that we approve resolution 36B 2024.
I'll second the mayor's motion.
Any discussion, comments, or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you.
Thanks.
Did I hear there was a pie in the face or a booth, or a dunking booth, Chief? Oh, yeah, right. Would love that. Get in line, right, Debbie? All right, we'll move on to 2024-37B.
Yep, this is resolution 2024-37B, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana regarding parking space closings for the Jefferson County Emergency Management event. Whereas there's been a request filed by Matt True on behalf of the Jefferson County Emergency Management for the closure of parking spaces located along Vaughn Drive directly south of Bicentennial Park with their 10-4 radio event to be held on Friday, October 4th, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that the parking spaces located on Vaughn Drive directly south of Bicentennial Park shall be closed on Friday, October 24th, 2024 from 8 to 4 p.m.
Matt's not here, but he did come to the office. Oh, you were here. Hi.
So my name is Amanda Smith, and I am with the Integrated Public Safety Commission, and we're the state agency that promotes public safety interoperability radio communications and oversees the land mobile radio system that the entire state uses every single day for public safety. And this is our event. It's a communications exercise. It is statewide. It's going to have 10 locations. In Jefferson County, we would like to be one of them. You can expect mostly emergency management agency employees, maybe some police and fire involvement, but mostly EMA. People will come in with their command vehicles and test alternate communication pathways. And it's also going to include some ham radio operators who are affiliated with their local emergency management agency, so they can test communication pathways to make them better prepared to handle disasters that involve collapse of the communication system.
What was your name again?
Amanda Smith.
Amanda, thank you for being here.
Yes.
And where do you live at?
Milan.
You live in Milan, so
I
thanks
do.
for driving down this
Yeah.
morning. Assuming all of us and this vast viewing audience that we'll have for today's meeting
Yeah.
that are watching us online or the film, tell us a little bit more about what exactly that means relative to the communication pathways. Is this primarily emergency radios? You said there's ham operators. Is Metronet or some of the other technology firms about, because I know it's down there in that park, I'll just mention this, when we
Yeah.
have lots of people down there, our
too.
communications really sometimes get impaired. I don't know if it's because we don't have the technology there to handle that kind of bandwidth, but does it have anything to do with any of that?
Possible.
Okay.
Are you talking about your cell communications?
Yes.
Okay. That's definitely something that we can help you look at as our agency, as a state agency. We don't sell anything. We're literally funded by a BMV transaction every time you renew your plates. You're paying for our services.
Well,
And
it's
that's something we could definitely talk about. There are some options. Are you talking for public safety though, or just for the citizens?
primarily for public safety, because I've had issues there with weather and trying to stay in touch with Matt and others to get weather updates, and
Yeah.
had difficulty calling in or receiving calls while we were there during an event.
That's one of our specialties, and all of our services are free. Also, there are some options that you've got.
Okay.
And we can definitely talk about that. We also do event communication planning for free. So if you have large events and public safety has trouble talking to each other, or they're running the event on the main public safety radio system and the dispatch center is getting a lot of busies, we can help with that as well.
What was the name of the organization again?
Integrated Public Safety Commission.
Is that part of the Indiana's state emergency, the Homeland Security?
We work with them hand in hand, but we are a separate standalone communications agency. So
Okay.
we take care of that land mobile radio system.
Okay.
That we maintain it and everything. The first responders have to purchase the radios, but we take care of the network and the maintenance costs on the network. We are a liaison with the cell companies for public safety. We do the event planning. We do training and outreach for free to the agencies. I've been to your county a couple of times. I was at the after action for the tornado, and I presented radio statistics for them. So we kind of picked Jefferson County for this year's 10-4 day because if you look at the Indiana Department of Homeland Security districts, this is District 9, and it's kind of the center. So it centers around the 12 counties that are in District 9. And so we thought it would be a good location. So the people that would attend this event would all be public safety or affiliated as volunteers like the ham radio operators. They would be bringing incident command vehicles that are outfitted with radios, and they would be testing pathways across the public safety network that they use every day. They'd also be testing, usually they test some cellular stuff as well.
Okay.
And then some alternate forms of communication because they're practicing for a disaster. So if something went down, what are some of the alternate forms of communication that they may have at their disposal? And then also including that real emergency level, which is the amateur radio operators. If everything was down and there were no phones and there was no cell service, there was no landlines, there was no public safety radio system, they're your last line of defense. So we really want to get them involved to practice as well, because if they don't practice when something bad
Yeah.
happens, you know, how effective are they going to be? So that's
Is
our
this
goal.
an invitation-only event?
It's for any public safety, and
Okay.
if someone here wants to come and watch, I don't think that would be a problem at all.
It sounds great and much needed, so thank you guys for selecting Jefferson County and Madison as one of the sites to do training.
Yeah, it was
Will-
a great time
Will it all
last year.
happen simultaneously across the state?
It will, so
Okay.
we'll be trying to contact one of the other 10 locations. The dispatch center will be involved, and they don't even have to leave the dispatch center to participate. There'll be different call-ins to state police posts and stuff like that for them. And then they'll be trying to contact the other locations across the state. And then some of the amateur radio operators, we're even giving an option for them to work from their home station if they can't physically come. And we're just gonna see what kind of contacts we can make, identify gaps, equipment gaps or equipment problems. A lot of these command vehicles, you have them and then you don't use them for 2 years and now you need it.
Yeah.
So testing is so important to make sure everything is still functioning the way that it's supposed to be. So this will
I
help
agree with you.
identify problems.
Communication's the key, and if,
Yeah.
recently we had I think either a Metronet outage or a power outage, and that affects central dispatch greatly, and also both these guys on my right and left, are firefighters, so they
Okay.
understand how important communication is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you're just requesting parking places.
Yeah,
No
they're
street.
gonna bring their vehicles, we just need parking places, and I'm guessing
Yeah.
there's a restroom somewhere
Yes.
nearby. These are gonna be self-contained vehicles with generators, but that's the whole point. Bring your
Oh.
own power, imagine this is a disaster and we have to communicate with what we've got type of situation.
How long will you be there, you think, most of the day?
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. is what it's scheduled for.
Because we do have, food trucks around town. I'm sure these guys would like to know if you're
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
there.
absolutely. I'm not sure what the plan is for food, but, that's a great thought. So I'll try to find out from the people that are more heavily involved in the planning than
Okay.
I am. But last year, food was an issue because our agency, being funded by B&B Transactions, couldn't afford to feed everybody, and it was hard for people to leave and go get food, so everybody was starving by the time it was done. So that might be a good opportunity.
We have some good food trucks. So
Okay,
I'll reach out.
awesome.
What was that number of that resolution?
37B. So I'll move we approve resolution 37B 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any question or comment? Okay.
All right, thank you very much, and definitely reach out to me about the communication problems that you've had
Okay.
in that area, because I'm sure that there's
Are you
a
gonna be here that day?
solution. I think so, but
Okay.
I'm asking to be here,
We'll see you there.
so we'll see. I have 3 districts, but I'm hoping to be here, so.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much again.
The next and final resolution is resolution number 2024-38B, and is a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana. Nope, I'm missing one, on River,
You on the riverfront development?
Yep.
38B?
yep, 38B,
Okay.
sorry. I also have one here for a handicap parking space, but maybe that's.
Yes. Yeah, that's gonna be 39B.
Gotcha. All right.
Where did that one go?
38B, resolution Board of Public Works and Safety regarding a street closing for the Madison Riverfront Development Corporation. Whereas there's been a request filed by J.D. Webster and Joshua Coonsey on behalf of the Madison Riverfront Development for a street closing in
Don't have it.
connection with a golf cart ATV poker run to be held on Saturday, October 5th, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that Vaughn Drive between West Street and Broadway Street shall be closed on Saturday, October 5th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. At all times, the participants will abide by traffic regulations regarding golf carts, ATVs outside the event footprint. Be it further resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that said street as closed shall be under supervision and control of the Madison Riverfront Development Committee.
Good morning, welcome back, Joshua. Tell us a little bit about this event and,
So this is our 6th year for the poker run. We do, there's 5 local establishments, or excuse me, there's 13 local establishments this year that we have incorporated into the poker run.
sorry, I missed that last part where Chief was closing the door over there.
Okay.
Some-
We've got 13 establishments here in
Oh.
Madison, south of Main Street,
Wow.
that are incorporated as a part of this poker run. This is our 6th year in duration of this, and so far each year it's been great. It's been building every year. So this is one of our largest fundraisers of the year, as you guys know. The Weinstein and Barrel being the first one, and this being our second one.
It's a great event. And I'll ask the chief while he's here, have there been any issues with regard to ATVs and golf carts during that time period, going to the different and I think it's been pretty orderly with regard to keeping them inside the footprint and not outside of it, particularly with the ATVs, because that's kind of a amnesty day for allowing those vehicles on our streets.
That's correct. We always provide a map, and on that map, it has the red zone being Main Street and anything north of Main Street. So we try to isolate it as best we can. To my knowledge, we haven't had a whole lot of interference with that,
Yep.
but we are constantly evolving with it.
I tell you, it's been an enjoyable event to observe too, and if it's a beautiful fall day, then people are gonna love to be out, and it also supports the businesses in town for a good cause, so appreciate you all doing that. I'll move that we approve Resolution 38B 2024.
I'll second the mayor's motion.
Any discussion, comments, or questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Once again, thank you.
Thanks
for the
again.
information.
Hey, great job on the Super Overlook too, by the way.
Thank you.
That's what they do with this money, is they reinvest it to make our riverfront more beautiful, and they've been doing that for 30 years, or longer than that, probably,
A little longer.
a little longer.
Thank you again.
Take care, Dr. Steve. We do have one other resolution. I don't have a copy of it. Do you have it? It's just. Yes. Do you have it? Okay.
If this is a resolution, I guess we'll call it 39B, 2024, resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, establishing a handicap parking space at Helton Eye Care. Whereas there has been a request filed by Kyle Helton on behalf of Helton Eye Care for a parking space located on Main Street directly in front of their business located at 713 West Main Street, Indiana, to be established as handicap parking. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that Section 1, parking space located on Main Street directly in front of Helton Eye Care at 713 West Main Street is hereby established as handicap parking. This parking space shall be accessible by any person legally authorized to park there. Section 2, the City of Madison Street Department is hereby authorized to erect such signs and other traffic control devices may be necessary to implement the intent of this resolution. This resolution shall become immediately effective upon its adoption by the Board of Public Works and Safety, signature of the mayor, and enrollment in the Book of Ordinances, publication of notice is required by law.
Good morning. I don't know if everybody knew, but requests for handicap parking spaces go through our chief here. You've talked with the property owners there and evaluated the request?
Yep, I don't have any issues. I talked to Mad Love, which is right next door, and they didn't have any issues. I recommend putting it in just east of the alley, so it'll be almost like a pull-in spot for that.
Well, Joe mentioned 713, our sheet says 715, is it 713? Probably both. Okay. that's
It is a
the-
duplex.
It's a duplex.
Okay, it's a
Yeah,
duplex.
so it'd probably be in front of 715,
That covers both.
that side.
I want to thank them for making that investment. They've taken a property that really has not had much investment in a long time, and I took a tour through it. Kyle gave me a tour recently, and beautiful renovation, and this space is going to be necessary because I'll have patients coming in and out.
Yeah, they need that for, to be compliant with Medicare, Medicaid, to be able to accept patients. They need a handicap parking spot.
Well, I'll move that we approve Resolution 39B 2024, establishing a handicap spot for 713.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion, comments, or questions?
There's no other handicap spots on that block, right?
No, and,
That-
you know, they've
nothing
got
up
Mad
there.
Love's there, the trolley barn's there. I think that block could probably use one anyway. So.
It really could. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Chief, thank you. So that's taken care of. Temporary parking restrictions, south side of Second between Mulberry and West. Tony or Nicole? Okay.
Trying to answer questions. This request, is for, the Dollar General opening. They are currently under construction, as you may know, and, are requesting, the parking spots on their side of, Second Street, to be closed just so they can, load in all of their shelvings and, produce and whatnot, other goods.
Do we have the date of when that's going to occur?
I do not know that.
It's going to take a day or two. We've talked about that in staff meeting. We'll just coordinate with DG the arrival of their trucks so that we'll have safe passage to get all of, well, their furniture and fixtures and eventually inventory into the building. You've probably have driven by there. You see a lot of progress happening on the exterior. It's shaping up really nicely, and we're still targeting a soft opening around Labor Day. Board, if it's okay with you, you can just delegate to myself and staff just to mark off the closed parking when we need it for, for DG to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the parking restrictions with the jurisdiction going to the city to set the dates, the time of the needed action.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Nicole, thank you. And you'll stay here because we're doing PACE next. Love talking PACE.
Mayor, just real quick,
Yes.
I had in my packet
Oh.
also a, street/sidewalk closing request form from Landon Ralston for
Oh.
Ralston renovation,
Yep, thank you.
looks like Shamrock Street from Second Street to Adam Avenue on August the 6th at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on August the 7th.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. Appears there's gonna be work done on structures, on that side of the alley, and being requested for temporary closure of the alley for the work to be completed. I'm grateful he's doing that, because a lot of times work commences, and obstructs a sidewalk or a street without us knowing in advance. So I would move that we, grant the street closure, that's requested here from August the 6th, August the 7th, 8 to 5 p.m.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second. Any discussion? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Now moving on to PACE.
I have one extension for you, for 407 West Second Street. Bill and Susan Ollendorf are working on this, little cute house, but they've had a delay in the siding, installation. I'm not 100% sure what the issue is. I think it's a contractor, delivery of additional materials issue, but they're asking for an additional 2 months, which would put their new deadline as September 17th, 2024.
Construction on this has been beautiful, and really appreciate their investment there.
Yes.
And I think is this their first extension?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the extension, PACE extension of 407 West Second,
I'll second the motion.
the date being September 17th.
Any discussion? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And then I have 3 finals for you. The first one is 614 West Second Street. This is a rehabilitation grant. Don McKay worked on the porch of this structure. Those are the columns before. And then after, included new column restoration and some concrete work as part of the porch. And he's asking for the full disbursement of $5,725. It was completed according to his PACE grant.
Looks great, too.
The next one is a dilapidated structure grant for 1003 East Street. Final disbursement of half the funds. You can see the structure there was hit by a devastating fire. and then after, he completely renovated, tore off the, fire affected areas and rebuilt the porch and new addition, which I will clarify, the new addition sits like that because it was not part of the grant, just the demo was. But he's gonna finish that at some point, with siding, and so he's asking for the final disbursement of $11,750.
And this property is adjacent to another dilapidated structure that he completely restored
Renovated.
to, so lots of great investment happening, and we love it, particularly when the dilapidated structures are getting new life.
Yes. And then the last final I have for you is for 14 Elm Street, a rehabilitation grant. You can see their, more modern porch, railing and concrete there. And then the after included, creating new brick steps, which was more historically appropriate, along with a iron, railing. And they're asking for the full disbursement of the $3,605 of their grant.
Another one that really changes the look of the facade of that property.
Yes. Those are the three I have for you.
Perfect. Well, go ahead, Carl.
I make a motion, we approve the PACE finals at 614 West Second, 1003 East Street, 414 Elm Street.
I'll second Carl's motion.
More great investments. The number one thing that most visitors say when I see them across the community is how beautiful our town is. And you can't walk from street to street without seeing lots of work happening and a lot of restoration occurring. Any additional discussion, comments, or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Nicole, thank you.
You're welcome.
Under mayor's comments, just to reiterate, is what Chief was talking about. Yeah, with nothing on, I think we're leaving the PACE funding on Jefferson Street on the table, right, or off the table, okay. National Night Out tomorrow night, we will still have, what, did you say something? Oh, sorry. We will still have city council tomorrow here at 5:30. We have a very brief agenda so that we can dispense of the city's business and move to Bicentennial Park for a fun evening with the community. Nicole had also introduced the RFP for the update to our zoning, but there's a lot of other planning that's happening across the community too, with regards to streets and sidewalks, housing, and zoning, stormwater, Crooked Creek flood mitigation, and so on. I'll be giving a more thorough update to that tomorrow night at city council meeting. And that will be it for me. Board, do you have anything to add before we go into the rest of the agenda, public comment? We'll open up to public comment. If there's anyone here who would like to address the Board of Public Works, please come to the podium. Give your name and address and your remarks, please. Our next meeting will be Monday, August the 19th. Already moving in half of August. It's gonna go quick. Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here.